Hello. There we go. Hi, so my name is Andrew Calderon. I'm a data journalist at Columbia, graduating tomorrow, as well as Elisabeth Gawthrop. She's in the investigative program, and we were working with two students at Parsons on this investigation into a group of users on Twitter that we thought was particularly interesting. Along the way, we encountered a perennial problem when dealing with data, is that we had too much of it, and we didn't know how to parse it out in the most effective way. And for our particular interest, how to pull a story out of it that would be compelling. And so that being the main issue, we deployed a couple of different computational tools in order to help us grapple with that problem. But at the same time, we also see the opportunity for the tools that we use to converge to be used by other journalists who don't have the technical background that we have.
So just to take you through the specifics of what we did this semester, NBC published a data set, as many of you probably know, of a lot of the Russian troll tweets as identified by Congress and Twitter themselves. So NBC did several great stories, and we wanted to see what else we could find in that data set. And our first question was, who did these trolls come into contact with? So we got a list of 31,000 accounts from based on that data set. But so what after that? What does it really mean? So it's data, but it's not a story. So then we asked ourselves, how are these accounts connected with each other? What does that network look like? So we've started doing that, and this is just a sort of preliminary analysis, and this is a sample of just 1,000 of those accounts. And basically this confirmed that we were on the right track with something, and that there were these identifiable clusters and groups of online communities. But this is only 1,000. If we want to do all 31,000 or more, how do we do this in a more manageable way?
So that led to the next question, which is how can we make this network easier to investigate? And to do so, we use this graphing tool called Neo4j, which allowed us to algorithmically segment the large database that we had that went eventually from 31,000 to 215 million different users. Again, we were able to segment them, making it a little bit easier for us to manually explore them, but still, where's the story? Along the way, we did find some interesting things. For example, we found that some of the profile pictures looked the same but with minor transformations. In one particularly memorable case, it was Brad Pitt's torso from Fight Club, replicated on 4 different accounts with links to hedge fund websites, all tweeting different Putin hedge fund combined content. But although that was interesting, still not a story. So we thought of other ways that we could group the accounts, and that led us to using machine learning to find either duplicates or near duplicates based on the profile images. Again, this was just, it's exploratory. It's thinking, okay, how do I go from 215 million data points to something that 2 journalists can manage and then report out to eventually yield a story that has investigative depth and probative value. So insofar as our next steps,
so we're excited to continue interrogating this data, actually doing some of the other thing that we've learned in journalism school, which is reporting. And then I guess through the course of this investigation, as people who are interested in reporting on online communities and have some data skills, it was still not that easy, and we certainly haven't figured it all out. So we're excited to think about ways that there are ways to make these tools more accessible to other journalists and codify or automate this to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, and just to wrap up, so in an ideal situation, we would have these tools that we use and perhaps others in one place that any journalist and perhaps even a member of the public could go to, dump a data set into, and get some of these different directions to better understand what's going on in online communities, what's being said, trending, etc. Because ultimately, as we all know, based on the news recently, what happens in online communities maps to and has a direct impact on our lives, and we think that it's important for journalists to be able to tell those stories as easily as possible. We'd like to thank all of the people whose shoulders we stood upon to be able to do this, and if anyone's interested, please reach out to us on Twitter of all places.
And team, how long did you put into that project?
That was 7 weeks.
7 weeks worth of effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you.